I did one of Johnny King, the old Tranmere manager, and his widow came to see it, and she burst into tears, and I was like,
The lost penny lane, football on the brain, the stew called Scouse, Lacoste, North Face or Berghaus. It's the Scouse House, it's the Scouse House.
You know what, I've got to say a big thanks to MH Studios for supporting the Scouse House. MH Studios is designed to cater to all your content creation needs. Is it photography? Is it videos? Is it podcasts? It doesn't matter because they can do it all at MH Studios. Get in touch, studio@mhstudios.co.uk. MH Studios.
Welcome back to the Scouse House, and today I have in the studio with me a good friend of mine, John May.
Thanks for having me.
A bit more enthusiastic.
Thanks for having me.
And most importantly, well, not most importantly, obviously it's great to have John, but we are joined by world famous street artist Paul Curtis, everybody. Let's get a round of applause from the back of the room. There we go. Paul Curtis, repping the merch as well, Paul. Nice. Can we show that off?
Just we worked up this year.
Oh, was that working?
Yeah. Not available on the website, no.
Well, speaking of, coming straight from where you are right now, you're in the middle of an exhibition, that's right?
Yeah, so I've got an exhibition on at the Live building at the moment.
Yeah.
It's running for 2 weeks. It comes to the end on the 23rd. But we're probably talking in past tense, aren't we?
Yeah. And this is showcasing all of your, or a lot of your best bits so far.
Yeah, so been thinking about it for a while, like, because we've never had a street art exhibition in Liverpool. Plenty of other cities have had it. So I was wondering why we hadn't had one, but I was like, well, maybe, surely I'm a person in the situation that could do something about it. So I've been thinking about it for 2 years, but it was hard to get a place to do it. And then I saw that the Live building was having exhibitions, so I just asked them basically.
And boom.
And it's amazing because the room we've got in the Live building, they've given us like the central atrium, so it's going really well, yeah.
Well, we'll come back to that, mate. We'll come back to that, and we'll talk about some of your most famous pieces of art. In fact, one we're very, very close to, maybe perhaps the most famous piece of art that you've done. John, welcome back to the Scouse House. How are you, mate?
Sound, how are you?
Good. You bounced into the studio today claiming that you nearly died.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I was just having a nice, Saturday evening, sitting watching the TV, as you do. And I jumped up. I jolted up. This isn't funny, by the way, Andy.
Sorry.
I jolted up. And you know when you're there, this is Saturday just gone. You know when you stand up and you get a bit dizzy and you're like, whatever. But the dizziness didn't go, and it got worse. And my head was flopping back like that, and it was flopping forward. And every time I brought my head up like that, I started vomiting. I literally thought I was going to die. So I phoned an ambulance. I'm just lying there. Do you know what it's like when you're drunk and you get spinny head? But I went drunk. It was horrible. I thought I was having a brain hemorrhage. I really, really did.
It really wasn't funny, was it? The way you said
I'm still suffering now.
Yeah, the way you came in, you said, I nearly died last week. And then I thought, that'll be a good story.
There was an awkward silence because you're a bad boy. And I just wanted to fill the gap with something. Nearly died the weekend.
Yeah, and I went, no, save it for the record. That'll be funny. And he went, sound. And then you've just told it, and it was a horrifying story.
Yeah, so I phoned an ambulance and all that. And they were like, yeah, we need to sample ambulance. And I was like, shit. And I was waiting for 6 hours, and then they phoned me back up and said, we got a specialist on the phone, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out it's either labyrinthitis or vertigo. But mate, honestly, I shit myself. It was horrible. But it's a sign of getting old, isn't it? It's like getting all these little ailments now. I need to look after myself more.
Walking too much?
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Maybe.
I started that keto diet as well.
That could be it.
No, I don't know.
What is it? What's the keto diet?
You just don't eat carbs. So your body goes into ketosis and burns your stored fat instead.
What are you eating instead then?
Well, last night I had a rump steak cooked in butter, 2 fried eggs and beans cooked in butter as well. It was fabulous.
Just fried egg or deep fried cream eggs?
You could
Because that's the last... That was,
depending, if you could deep fry it in olive oil, yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's good. And I actually feel better. I feel sharper for it, other than nearly dying.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Paul, I'll come back to you, mate, because you're our guest. We've actually had a little conversation before in the past. If you don't mind, let's go back to, on the Scouse House, we like to talk about people from Liverpool with a connection to Merseyside, etc. Remind me, whereabouts are you from? Where's your background in Liverpool?
So I grew up in Woolton, and then when I was 20, I moved to Aberdeen. I was there for 13, 14 years.
Oh, right.
And then I was in London for about 4 years, and then eventually I lost my job and then moved back to Liverpool.
So why Aberdeen? What were you up to in
I
Aberdeen?
worked in the oil and gas industry.
Right.
So, yeah. So I was basically looking for oil on and off the rig sometimes. Yeah.
You personally out there on the North Sea?
I didn't go out that often, to be honest. It was mostly office space. It was just occasionally. But yeah, loved it up there. But it gets a bit grim in winter. So that's why I moved to London for a change. But then, yeah, after 4 years in London, I unfortunately lost my job. You can't stay in London if you've not got an income, that's for sure. So that's why I ended up back in Liverpool. Still couldn't get a job, and that's how I ended up doing what I do now, yeah.
That's a mad story, isn't it? So that's how you came to street art?
Yeah, it was basically because I was struggling to get a job, and I had time on my hands, and I had to start doing something. So I started painting, and it kind of took off when I did the live at Bird Wings. So
yeah,
that's how that really helped me to sort of go professional full time. Yeah. So
had you had back in your school days and stuff like that? Had you had any interest in artwork and stuff like that? I've got a GCSE
in it. Yeah.
Nice.
You got
any GCSEs?
I've got a few, yeah.
Nice. You're a smart fella.
So yeah, no. But back then when I was at school, it was like art wasn't encouraged. It was like, yeah, nobody's going to be an artist. I think it's different now in schools. They encourage it lots more, just because there's more jobs in creative media, TV, films. We never had like a real film industry in Liverpool. And then we've spoke before about like the video game industry and stuff. So there's all that like kids can go into if they're creative. So the schools encourage it. Back when I was at school, it was like, forget about it, you're not going to be an artist. So you think there's been a positive change, do you, in particularly like in the Liverpool area for art? Yeah, I think everywhere. I think it's a positive change, but I think it's a necessity in it, because the jobs that there were 20, 25 years ago, they've changed. So look, we're doing a podcast now. Nobody was doing podcasts 25 years ago. So there's a lot more media stuff now. Yeah. Yeah. And what was the first foray into art then, mate? So the first thing I ever did, well, not the first thing I ever did, but what led to me becoming a street artist was when I was unemployed. Me sister was expecting a baby, and she said, well, you're not doing anything, so paint the spare room. Right. So, I mean, did she say it quite so passive aggressively? Well, I can't remember the exact words, but it might have been like that. But you've got nothing on. Well, it was pretty much that, yeah. So, and then
So wait, you got into art by decorating your sister's bedroom?
Because I had time on my hands, I started painting like Bambi and trees and the little owls and things like that.
Yeah.
And that was the first one I did because I had time on my hands. I knew that I was all right at drawing, but I never thought I could make a career from it.
Imagine if she just came out and said, I just wanted Magnolia, Paul.
I think she did regret it, because when I was there for like 2 weeks later, still doing it, I've just got to do the blossom on the trees.
No, you said I've got time on my hands. I've got time on. So yeah. So you did Bambi, and
then I just put some photos. At the time, obviously, I had no ambition of being an artist, but people were like, I put some photos on my own Facebook, and people were like, "That's quite good. Maybe you should try and do something with that if you're struggling to work." Yeah. And so that's how the seed got planted. Yeah, and, but it's hard. You can't just say one day I'm an artist and then the phone starts ringing. You've got to go chasing the work. It's like any business you set up, I reckon. So I was struggling. I was cold selling, and that makes you pretty thick-skinned, like the rejections you get on that. But in the end, I was like, I need something to refer to say that I did that, and that's why I did the wings. And it was the first piece that I did outdoors. and it was kind of clever, but it was kind of lucky that everyone went and got a photo taken with it, because then it helped promote me.
Yeah, so we're talking about the famous lava wings, aren't we?
Yeah,
We'll throw them up as a visual. A lot of your art was obviously used in series 1 of the Scouse House, as you probably know, some like little bits and pieces of your artwork in episodes. Yeah. We can take them out, can't we? But we're now just literally around the corner from the wings, aren't we? We're in MH Studios on Norfolk Street in the Baltic Triangle. So that was your big breakthrough, really. Talk me through the day, like doing it, and then the day after doing it when it went mad.
Yeah, so funnily enough, it took about 3 weeks to get permission for the wall. So the idea changed. It was just going to be a portrait, but then I was like, no, the person has to be part of the photograph or they won't take the photograph, if you see what I mean. So I had this idea. There were wings that had been painted before, but I was like, that's a good idea. They weren't certainly as prevalent as they are now, where they were like in every bar and stuff. Back then, you hadn't really seen them. So then I was like, I'll do like angel wings, but I was like, nah, I need to do something that links to the city, because then there'll be a bit of pride for the people who live here. And then if you're a tourist, it's like a visiting spot. So yeah, so what's good about the exhibition is it's kind of like that's what inspired my first piece, and that's where.
Of course, yeah. So you're in the lava buildings.
Yeah, that's why the green, because of the statues green.
Yeah.
See, at one point, like that was like a real focal point when everyone was coming to get the photo took with that.
Yeah.
And people obviously still are.
Yeah. So even when I was walking here, I saw people there.
I think it was me.
Yeah, and apparently a lot of people use it on the dating profile, so it's nice to think that you're helping people get lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, contributing to potentially reproduction
like,
in Liverpool.
Doing bedrooms and stuff like that, painting it, that's quite lucrative, isn't it? You can make. Like,
that's what I started doing, and that's what I thought. That's all I'd do. And yeah, it for me, I did all the sort of like Disney characters and things like that. Won't do it anymore, but it was practice. You took what you could get when you were starting off.
I tell you what's took off. Have you seen these people like shop windows and like
the
windows,
Christmas displays,
the Christmas things, carving out of like black Christmas snow.
Yeah, I've only done one of them. I don't really do them because generally December's quite busy for me. So yeah,
if you have a skint, you know what I mean, you can jump on it.
Well, his sister might have a job for him first.
All right, okay, yeah.
So, Paul, it went mental, didn't it? It went mental for you personally, and like the whole.
Yeah, it was a bit scary because I wasn't prepared for it. I think I lost a lot of opportunity there because I wasn't a big social media user.
Right.
So I had set up my own pages, like a professional page. But when everyone started taking photos, so I finished at like 8 o'clock. No, it was earlier. I finished around about 7. It was the middle of summer. I took a couple of photos, went home, and then the next morning it was like load of messages. Everyone was tagging me and stuff like that, and I just didn't expect it.
And did you say did they close the street or something like that?
About 2 days afterwards, yeah, so many people were turning up that they ended up closing that part of this Jamaica Street because it was getting dangerous.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
People were driving from everywhere to come and get a photo.
And were you?
It's the Instagram generation, wasn't it? It was like.
Yeah.
And were you sort of in the neighbourhood as well? Obviously,
I went past a couple of times on my bike, and I was like, I'm not going to say anything. So I thought it was mental. But the thing is, because it happened so early, and I hadn't had that much practice as an artist, you feel exposed. It's like, I don't know if I wanted this much attention so quickly. Do you know what I mean?
No way.
Well, you had a bit of that, John. Do you reckon when you kind of like your characters went massive?
Yeah.
How did that feel when you sort of thrust into more
No, it was
known than you had been previous?
Like when I had a similar moment to you, like because lockdown was on.
Yeah,
and then I went to Asda and I seen like a huddle of taxi drivers like laughing their heads off, like all laughing.
The Asda, by the way.
I could hear my voice. I'm like, no way, they're watching my video. And
then I remember that in lockdown when it went.
Yeah. And there was another time, and the gentleman who happened to be there at the time is in this room now. But there was a time we were doing this Kenny's Christmas Carol, and like people clocked me with me wig on, and the cars stopped. And this car stopped, and he jumped out the car, asked for a photo, and I thought, oh my God, like, and I was conscious because all the other cars behind him were getting held up, And I was like, yeah, hurry up, mate, hurry up. And I was like, thinking I was causing a bit of a scene. Then all the other people out the other car started to get out and get the photos took as well. Do you remember that? Yeah, so it was like, wow. So that was that, yeah.
So you didn't go down that route, you didn't get off your bike and start going, yeah, that's me, everyone.
It's different, isn't it? Because John's recognisable. He is just the character, whereas mine's, it's the art, isn't it? So I don't really get that, luckily.
Yeah.
But it was more a case of, you know, imposter syndrome, I guess.
Yeah, I understand that though.
Are other artists going to start criticising it? Truth is, other artists don't. It's probably like in your world, another comedian wouldn't lay into you because he knows what you go through. But it's, you know, armchair critics.
Stand-up's the bitchiest game in the world.
100%, yeah. Well, you
do you do it online, or is this just in the background?
Oh, they hate each other.
Backstage is a different story, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Because I'd never criticise someone who's having a go at art on social media, but I might say it amongst
the funniest. I'll tell you the funniest thing as a stand-up, right? When especially when you're coming through, you're doing gigs on the circuit, you'll do car shares, so it's a little bit like footy in a way, you know, when you're like going to I'm sure footy, but you'll get in, you and maybe 2 or 3 other comics will get in a car to go to a gig, and you all share petrol and stuff like that, and then you'll be a little bit into the car journey, and then someone will go, so what do you think of him then?
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, oh, okay, here we go.
But I get that, but that's in private, isn't it?
Well, exactly, yeah.
No, but it affects you a little bit, because like I dipped my toe into it a little bit, and like people started telling me all the other stand-ups are ripping me, like saying, oh, he's not really stand-up, is he? He's you know, just puts wigs on and that. And like, they just, I don't know, they don't know me, they've never met me, so why do you like criticising me? I know why, it's about threat.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, yeah, I must have done their heads in some way.
So since then, though, Paul, you absolutely, it was absolutely flying. Then you've done loads. I mean, a few personal favourites of mine stick out. I really liked, Red Rum down in Southport. We talked about that in the past.
Just done a new Red Rum one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the band.
Oh, Red Run the band,
Red
yeah.
Run
Well,
Club,
Fran Doran, shout out Fran Doran. He was on the first scene. You've just done Fran and the boys from the Red Run Club as well.
Yeah. So that was done in January. Hard one that, because this January was tough weather-wise.
And that's in Bootle, is it?
Yeah, 6 portraits. It was like, really, you want 6 portraits? So it's massive, yeah. It's on this side of the Strand. And when I started it was when we had all that snow, and it was like, I don't know, -3 or something. And then when I finished it warmed up, but it kept raining. So got there in the end, but they've been really good. Red Rum Club.
Playing the arena this year, aren't they? That'll be a huge gig for them.
Yeah, I'm going. They said, I told them I already had tickets, and they were like, we could have got you backstage. And I was like, you still can.
Have they boxed you then? Come on, Fran. Did they box you off?
No.
Fran! I'll text them after the episode. So yeah, that's obviously a good one. You've done Cara and Gerard with the European Cup with the Scouse link. That's amazing. It's 2 Scousers with the European Cup.
Obviously done quite a lot of football ones, because I've done the first ones I actually did with Everton ones.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
producer Steve will be pleased with that. Big Everton fan.
And then I did a lot. I did all the Tranmere ones, so I've done loads of Tranmere, and then I've done a few Liverpool ones, but Liverpool ones are like private ones, so like I did like the Shankly one by Hotel Tia, Missy Bow, Anne Williams, Jordan Henderson, Al Lanson, so yeah. But yeah, football's a big sort of employer for me, yeah. So been over to Bradford City as well, and Ipswich Town, so getting around now. So
you're getting out and about, like further afield than just Liverpool, obviously?
Yeah. No, it's good. Because it's almost like there's only so far you can go within Liverpool, because there's only so many walls.
Yeah.
So, but one of the difficulties is like going beyond Liverpool, because of the rivalry we have with Manchester. In any other business, your obvious next port of call would be Manchester. But it's like, what protects me in Liverpool? They won't hire Manchester artists. It's the same reason I wouldn't be able to. So it's almost like you have to leapfrog Manchester to sort of get on the city. Yeah.
I seen something. It was on Instagram the other day. Did you want a Gary Neville next to Carragher's one? Was that a while ago?
I think that was.
Was that you?
No. I think that was was that not for like what's it?
Sky Sports thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, or what's the thing the comedy show they do?
Oh yeah,
The overlap, is it?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. I think they asked me to do one of Jamie Redknapp. That was like the panel show with Jamie Redknapp. Is that
A League of Their Own.
League of Their Own? That was it. They asked me to do one of him, but it was terrible, and that was the joke.
Right.
I refused to do it because I was like, I know
You've
what
got
you're saying.
integrity.
Well, I was like, it could get me a really bad name in Anfield, and I get a lot of work in Anfield. But
All right.
maybe I was being a bit too sort of precious about it, but because they painted over it afterwards. But
Yeah.
I just looked at it and I went, I don't want to paint that. That's horrible.
I mean, do you think there is a little bit of like fatigue around wall art and stuff like that that people could get into if
Sometimes, like anything, isn't it? It's like all of a sudden a lot of it started appearing. Problem with that is, I mean, sound like I'm being a bit of a diva, but it's sort of like it's the quality. So some of the stuff that goes up, I'm like, I don't know, that's a bit rough and ready. But then people might say that might mind. So but I've had like 6 years of learning. So yeah, you get a bit picky about when you're looking at these things now.
Do you have any personal favourites of yours?
Yeah, but I always get asked this. It always disappoints people when I say the answer because it's like they expect me to say the Wings or one of the famous ones, and it's like there's a couple I've done. I did one in Widnes Market, which is like a tiger,
Okay.
but they just gave me freedom. They said just do something bright. So
We can't talk about Widnes on the Scouse House. Paul,
well, they're the ones in Ormskirk, so that makes it so not really helpful.
Oh, what are you kidding? So it was what? Just did you say tiger?
So the one in Ormskirk's called the Clockmaker, and it's like again they just said do something to do with clocks. So it's like a fella making a clock.
Yeah.
But,
What was the Widnes one?
it was tiger.
Tiger. Yeah.
Yeah, but
What's the link there?
they didn't ask for the link. That's why I
Oh,
liked it.
so did you just go do
Yeah.
something for us?
Because one of the problems I have is like, you get asked to do a mural, what do you want? Liverpool skyline, the Beatles. It's like,
Yeah.
and I get it, but sometimes it's nice when you get asked to do something just totally unrelated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's one in Warrington. It's called, well, there's this area in Warrington called the Pink Eye Roundabout. Do you know about it?
I've heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just this big, massive building. It's all painted pink and just an eye with a tear. So me being me, I had to find out why. So I just went online and looked it up. Apparently there's this artist, and he was meant to, for Warrington Council, he was meant to paint like a marine themed mural, right? And then someone from the council went, no, we don't want that. And he said, it's meant to be like marine theme. This was the point. This is where we got the da-da-da. And he went, no. And he said, what do you want me to do? He said, do what you like. So he done a big pink eye with a tear to sort of represent like he couldn't do what he wants to do.
Oh,
Anyway,
right.
it's dead iconic in Warrington, like.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is it. So, like I say, the ones that I like are where I've been given a bit of freedom. But then sometimes that's hard, because if you say to me, paint what you like, I'm still trying to second guess what you like. You know what I mean? So at the moment, at the exhibition, we're auctioning 2 pieces. I'm doing 2 canvases, and it was like, well, I've got choice to do what I want here. But then it's like, well, if I'm auctioning them and one's going in a raffle, I can't do anything niche, because you've got to do something that people are going to want. So it's rare that you actually are doing something just for you. Do you know what I mean?
My favourite one in the city, other than the Wings, of course, is it John Culshaw, is it?
He's another mural artist, yeah.
That lava bed he's done round the corner here. It's on the wedding shop. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Like a big colourful bird. Have you seen it?
No.
It is pretty amazing, like.
Yeah. It's just down there, yeah. Can't miss it from the road.
We'll go and take a look at it.
It's gorgeous.
After this.
It's so nice, yeah.
Yeah. Where is it?
There's like a bridal shop just
Yeah.
around the corner here.
Standalone building in it.
Yeah, it's big. Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah.
One you did last year, mate, that caught my eye was Katarina Johnson-Thompson and is it Jack Hunter Spivey on their old school. Not KJT just won I think she just won the world championship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she got gold, didn't she?
Amazing, by the way.
Yeah, so it's the Paris Olympics this year, isn't it? So it was part of that.
Fingers crossed for KJT,
exactly.
innit?
So that's her old school. And yeah, she was made up. She come down to see it and that. I don't know how much she knew about it, but when she came down for the press day, she was like, her mum was there as well, and I think her mum was quite emotional, so that was nice to see. And yeah, she was made up with it, and yeah, fingers crossed that because I think she's got a good chance of getting gold this year.
When you reveal one of your pieces of art and it's a picture of someone and they're there,
Yes.
do you ever have?
Yeah. It is nervous because it's like, how do we see ourselves? So I'm working from a photo, but sometimes you see a photo of yourself and you go, I'm not sure about that. But and if it's a surprise one, they haven't picked the photo. Do you know what I mean? So it is nervous, and you are like looking at the face for clues, because it's a fine line between happiness and like, you know, they're not happy at all. Because I did one of Johnny King, the old Tranmere manager, and his widow came to see it, and she burst into tears, and I was like, but it was because she was so happy.
Right.
It takes you a minute to work out. Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
So
but
it's like that old show on BBC, isn't it? What was it called? Changing Rooms.
Oh yeah.
It's like walking in. Yes, I love it.
It sounds like you did start out with changing rooms, didn't you? In your niece's bedroom.
Yes. Yeah,
Imagine Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen came in at the end of your. You finished up with Bambi there.
Yeah, I'd rather.
I don't like it, darling.
That, but yeah, but yeah, it's more pressure when the person's passed away and the family's coming.
Yeah,
because it's like their memory of the person, which is even more pressure. So like Anne Williams, that's probably one of the most pressurised pieces I've done, I think.
Yeah, well, that links into sort of, you know, what it is to be a Scouser, really, isn't it? In terms of Anne Williams and stuff like that. Obviously, you're a proud Scouser yourself, mate. Do you think? It sounds like you're pretty happy with the state of like creative industry in Liverpool and stuff like that. Is there anything you think will lack, or anything that you'd like to see coming in the future in terms of creative industries?
Yeah, I mean it's going well for me, and I think it's a lot of other people are doing well. A lot of what we've done in street art in the city, it's kind of been off our own back. I don't know how much support we've either needed or we've been given. So we've kind of like created our own industry in a sense. But I do a lot of work in schools, and from what I see from going to schools is they are producing kids to go into, well, you've seen yourself with the film industry and stuff, that's growing in Liverpool massively. So I know kids now, young people going into these jobs are starting to do really well, that you would never imagine, like even a decade ago.
Yeah.
And they're going off and working in Hollywood and things like that. So it's not just film, but...
You're passionate about that? Are you passionate about, supporting the youngsters if they're interested and intrigued in art?
I think it only reflects well on the city. If we're sending creatives around the world, and we've got this hub coming from Liverpool where there's talented people who can work in creative works, then that's great for the city, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it taps in, doesn't it, to John, the sort of knives down, gloves up stuff as well, doesn't it? You know, it doesn't have to, if it's sport, if it's art, if it's comedy, whatever it is, getting young people into stuff like that and more positive, using that energy.
Yeah, it's just not like teaching them, I always say consistency over time. If you have little wins and you can see, I can do that, I can do this, actually I can do this. If I can do that, I can do that. And it's just a build-up of that, totally, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I always say to them, like, you're going to get rejections, but everyone will get them. But it's how you respond to that.
Yeah.
Because I had plenty of rejections, and thinking there's jobs I'll get that you think I'm a shoo-in for that, and you don't get it. But then my attitude's always been, well, I'll show them. I'll do something better next time. Yeah.
See, I'm an actor. It's just rejection after rejection after rejection.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So it's like you can't take it personal. But I suppose, you get a thicker skin, and you apply that to other parts of your life as well.
Yeah, and that's it. Because if you just give up, then it's never going to happen. You've just got to keep plugging away.
Yeah.
See, when you're applying for gigs and stuff like that, and some clubs rate you and some maybe don't and stuff like that.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't make head and tail of it. You're like, well, what have I done wrong there? But
sometimes it's nothing as well, isn't it? It's just like, I don't know, someone else comes in with a better offer. I'm guessing, like, obviously there's a financial element to your bids and things.
I think I've done the opposite in the past. I think I've gone in too low, and it's made me look less professional. So I don't know. There's a load of factors at play, I think. It's just there's other things, like how much the person you're dealing with, how much of a risk taker they are, how much do they want to play it safe. So
yeah. Well, listen, Paul, you know, the part of the podcast everyone's looking forward to is on here. We pick our top 3 Scousers. John, I'm trying to recall, you threw in, John threw a few curveballs in. Pete Price, Ringo Starr, Kenny Dalglish. So, no, actually, Kenny's a definite Scouser. But, Paul, let's hear it. Let's start. Who's your first top Scouser?
Yes, so my 3, I tried to vary it a little bit, but the first one is quite a predictable one, so John Lennon.
Whoa, John Lennon, I've heard of him.
Yeah, so, no, I'm a big music fan. When I was a teenager, I used to play in bands, used to want to be the next Beatles, but no, we never got to that kind of level.
I mean, that's a heavy standard to set yourself, isn't it? Do you think that's difficult for musicians coming through in Liverpool to have such a...
It's like Steve Rotherham recently said, didn't he? He's probably a bit misquoted, but he said like Liverpool only had one band, and it's like not Steve Rotherham. What's his face?
Andy Burnham.
Andy Burnham. Sorry to Steve if he watches. Shouldn't have said that.
We'll cut it out, Steve.
Yeah.
Kicked out of office because Paul Curtis misquoted him.
But it's not true, is it? There's loads of bands and musicians come from Liverpool, but it's just that they create such a big shadow that it's hard for the others to shine through.
I've just come back from New York, Paul. They've got a little John Lennon tribute in Central Park. Just by the Dakota.
Strawberry Fields bit.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a bit more substantial. I've got to be honest. I was a little bit disappointed. It's symbolic. It's just imagine, isn't it?
It's a memorial, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but by American standards, it could have gone. They could have built like a theme park and everything.
What did you want, Hand?
Well, exactly.
A roller coaster.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
You get like full-time John Lennon fans who were just there all the time.
Yeah.
Saying love John, and then
singing.
You've got the Dakota building over the road.
Yeah. There was someone busking there.
But then think of it this way: a lot of people come from America to visit Penny Lane, and they're like, "Is this it?" They're expecting a big theme park. And,
yeah.
You know. So yeah. But John Lennon, obviously, I think Paul McCartney was the better in terms of melody, but I think John's lyrics are a little bit more, I don't know, they've got a bit more, you can relate to them.
Well, it was about to happen, was it? John Lennon going into the Scouse House Hall of Fame. Had to happen, Paul. You've put him in there. Well done, mate. Who's another
no one else
of your top Scousers? Not as yet.
So Stephen Graham, the actor.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm sure other people have said him as well, but Stephen... now, as well as being a great actor, I think he's a good person. So, little story of my brother-in-law was involved. I won't go into the details, but he was involved in an accident. Ended up in hospital in a coma, quite badly burnt. And Stephen Graham, like, you get a bit down in the dumps when you're in that situation. I wasn't in it, but you can imagine. And he took the time to send him a message saying, you know, keep your chin up and all that. So, and I think he does a lot of that, and it's like, so he hasn't lost touch, has he? But I think he's also a great ambassador for the city, getting all these top roles around the world in top films.
It's incredible. Have you worked with Stephen yet, or is your paths crossed?
Yeah, I was in Time where I pull him over, where he's got loads of drugs in the back.
Oh, you were busy in that?
I was busy, and then I was in Little Boy Blue as well.
What were you in that?
I went in something else. 3 times I've done something with him.
Yeah.
You pulled him over 3 times, or?
You what?
Was it always pulling him over or something?
No, the second time was Little Boy Blue. Like the...
he was the copper, wasn't he?
Yeah, the murders, he confesses to me. So I have to go to court and I had this big amazing scene. It was brilliant, but then he cut it, which is a shame. But yeah, I'm still in it. And then I done something called The Last Ferry years ago with Dave Kirby. That was the first time I met him, yeah. So a good few times, yeah.
Yeah, when you're working with not necessarily Stephen Graham, but probably when you're working with someone who's got a big reputation like that, do you get any butterflies or overalls, or
do you know what?
Do you just go for it? Like,
I don't, to be honest. And the only time I've been starstruck in my life is the most unlikeliest one. I was on Corrie, and Bev Callard walks out. This is weird, because why? But Liz McDonald walked out, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. sitting there having a drink with
all the
Audrey
other
and
actors
Rita
there as
and
well.
that.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Bev Collard had this weird effect on me.
Do you have a weird crush on him? Like,
So you could be doing a scene with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and then you go.
No, there's been loads. I've done work with
And then
loads.
Dev from Corrie would walk in, and you go, "Ah, my head's gone."
Because, I don't know, I've done loads of work with the Liverpool players and stuff like that, and I don't get intimidated by it. But Bev Collard had me on my knees.
it's an interesting.
Is that staying in?
Just weird, though. Like, that weird random one. I was like... And I knew what starstruck meant then.
Yeah, okay.
Because you grow up with these people, but you've never met them.
Yeah, they're in your house every
yeah,
night.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, you got John Lennon, you got Stephen Graham, you got space for one more, Paul.
So this is a bit bending the rules slightly.
Well,
John May.
one day, John.
Nigel Blackwell. So probably a lot of people won't know who he is, but
Please explain.
so he's actually from Birkenhead. So I'm kind
Paul, what? you said bending the rules, not breaking them entirely. No, I will have it known now. Birkenhead, the Wirral, that's fine as far as this goes. If you're on holiday and you say, and people from the Wirral say that, if they say that I'm from Birkenhead, people go, where? In the end, they just say Liverpool anyway, don't they?
Yeah, because I think it just saves them having to have a conversation explaining.
If you're on the Wirral, you want to be a Scouser, you're a Scouser. That's my rules. John, where do you stand on it?
On what?
Where the lines are, Scouse, etc.
Walton, Kirkdale, Anfield. Anything beyond that.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that wall, you're a wall.
It starts to... The O's start to go... you start to dilute. Sorry, but it's true. Holy Cross is acceptable.
We talked on your episode on the purple bin front and that, and some people said that spoke like someone who's got a brown bin. They were having a go at you, weren't they?
Yeah, as I say, yeah, my colour of my bin does not define me. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, but when you're talking, like, you sort of go in and out of characters, depending on what you're saying, I've noticed.
Yeah.
In your life?
Yeah.
Yes. Who's the real John May?
I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
No,
so
but...
even that then, that was sort of going in Villain's character.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's a defence mechanism.
Just be yourself.
I am being myself. Scousers. Yeah, I do think it's around that area. That's like the true old Liverpool.
Yeah, I typed Scouse into Wikipedia. I was researching where can I possibly draw the lines here, and Scouse in terms of accent, it does cover into the Wirral and stuff like that.
Scouse, did you tell me this? Scouse originates from Birkenhead and Bootle.
No, I never said that.
Scouse, obviously lobby, Scouse, Scandinavia,
Yeah.
no, we all know that bit. But it was originally in Birkenhead and Bootle because they were the poorer areas. So they made the stew. So Scouse actually originates from out of Liverpool, really.
I mean, even if that's not true, it's
true.
It's a good story. Isn't it?
Yeah, so it's more Birkenhead, mate, than bloody, you know what I mean, County Road.
Let's get back to this. Sorry, Paul, we've got sidetracked.
Just sidetracked,
So your third entry into the Scouse House Hall of Fame is from Birkenhead. That's fine with me. Carry on.
Yeah, just because I wanted one that was a bit different, not an obvious one.
I appreciate that.
And as I mentioned there, like, big music fan. So Nigel is still in a band called Half Man, Half Biscuit. And I discovered them like when I was sort of like my early 20s. So they're old fellas now, they probably won't mind me saying that, but just his lyrics are amazing. So there's a comedy element to them, but he writes about the mundanities of normal life, about football, about like angry heads on Twitter and things like that. But they are funny, the lyrics. Like,
are you scared that he might put you in one of his takedown songs?
Well, actually, so I've met him a few times because he's a big Tranmere fan, so he's seen me doing the Tranmere stuff. But I did a mural in Oxton that probably in Liverpool's not very well known, but in the Wirral, it caused a massive stir because Oxton's like the posh part of Birkenhead, and I got asked to do a Tranmere badge. And
the posh part of Birkenhead.
There was uproar. There was a phone-in debate on Radio Merseyside about it and all kinds.
What was it?
He's written songs.
What was it?
It was just a Tranmere badge.
Right.
So not my design. I didn't design the badge. But they were just like, they don't want footy there.
Yeah.
And so the Oxton Society got on the high horse And I asked him once, I said, you should write a song about them. And he was like, I already have. Like, just about, Little Englanders getting worked up about something that's not that important.
The Oxton Society.
Even the name.
Well, the Tamia fans ended up putting T-shirts together, the anti-Oxton Society.
Well, I'm going to tell you a story now, and I'm going to hijack your podcast now, right? I used to live in Frodsham, right? And there was these people that used to go round picking litter up, right? A self-righteous gang of cunts, right? I fucking
say what you really mean, John.
I fucking hate you. You know what they call themselves? The Frombles, right? They go round feeling so fucking self-important because they go round picking litter up. You pay your council tax, the council should be doing it, right? Anyway, whatever. And they're fucking putting men out of jobs as well. Do you know what I mean? You gang of fucking middle-class twats. Anyway...
I think this is the real John May, by the way.
Yeah.
I fucking hate them, right? Because they walk around and they're self-righteous with they've got little high visors on with a picture of a womble on the back of Frombles, right? And why I hate them is because they go all over the Frodsham group. And, oh, yes, do. And then there's this little old woman goes, oh, doing a wonderful job. I wonder when you come in my street. And then they all attacked her. Why don't you pick it up yourself? Do you know what? They're a gang of cunts. They fucking take pictures of themselves picking litter up just so they can walk around Frodsham like this. When their fucking millionaire husband's in work and they've got nothing else to do than pick fucking litter up. And, yeah, gang of cunts. You're a gang of twats.
Well, if we did have any listeners from Frodsham, I think they've...
And I bet you Oxton's got their own version as well. You're a gang of cunts as well.
There we go.
That's the pod, everyone.
Fromble.
You all right? You know what it is? Because he nearly died. He's getting all these things off his chest.
Did you have a bad gig in Frodsham?
No.
Look how red he's got.
You know you are.
All right, let's recap. We've had John Lennon, Stephen Graham, and is it Nigel Blackwell?
Yeah.
Half. Let's put him in as half man, half biscuit, shall we?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Paul, for taking the time out to come and.
Thanks for asking us. We got there in the end.
Hang in the Scouse House, yeah. What else is coming up? Anything very quickly you can plug for 2024?
So our next job after the exhibition's finished is the Sandon Pub by Anfield. So the girl who owns that asked me to do. So that's where Liverpool-Everton at the meeting that led to Liverpool breaking away.
Brilliant.
So John Holden was the original chairman. So it's a portrait of him on the side. I love stuff like that because it's great doing the players and that, but the players are glorified anyway. So something like that is like a bit of history. So a lot of out-of-town fans, I don't know if they know the history. So it's like...
And you're doing your walking tours as well, where people can walk around with you. And,
I haven't got any plan. Probably do one in summer. But say it's as and when I can do them, really, to be honest.
Why don't you get the ones with high visors on, a little litter pick as well, you know?
Might do that, yeah.
The Paul Curtis Litter Picking Society.
Get photos of us all. Picking up litter.
What's the website, Paul?
PaulCurtisArtwork.com.
How could you forget that?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, mate. Take care. See you later.
Nice one.
Cheers, John.
My pleasure.